Oh my word, what did we just witness? Chelsea 3, West Ham 2. We have just come from behind to beat West Ham by 3 goals to 2. Oh my god, I don't even know what to say because this game was something else. First half, you know what? Let me start with the lineup first of all. First of all, the coach made 7 changes from the team that won the last game against Napoli. In the defense, we had Chaloba, Badiashile, Malo Gusto, and Jero Hato. Now, this was a lineup I kind of predicted, except the fact that it was going to be Fofana instead of Chaloba. But he started, okay? In the midfield, he had Caicedo, Fernandez, and Cole Palmer, who, by the way, he played the whole 90 minutes, 90 plus or 100 minutes. And then in the attack, he had Gittins, Garnacho. We're going to talk about Garnacho and Liam Delap. Now, the first 7 minutes, out of nowhere, Jarrod Bowen scores a goal. And this was an awful defending because Jarrod had to, he gets Jarrod Bowen, he gets the ball from the right wing and kind of, I don't know if he wanted to cross the ball, but for some reason, no player touched the ball except, of course, it was Castellano that tried to go after the ball. However, he didn't even touch the ball and he just went in. One goal, 1-0 down, and we were looking like what was going on. And then before you know it, in the 36 minutes, out of nowhere, they score again. Chris, I'm like, what is going on? Somerville scores the ball out of a beautiful attack from who else? It was Juan Bissaka who gets the ball. Ganacho, I don't know what he has. I don't know what he was doing today, but he was probably watching, just strolling, gingerly, nothing like it. I don't have no care in the world. Juan Bissaka gets the ball, makes a low cross, backwards, and guess who's coming from the midfield? It was Somerville, and he slots in that second goal. We were bewildered, and I don't know. We could have scored. They could have scored another third goal in that first half, but luckily it ended up at 2-0 in the first half. Now let's talk about Garnacho. This game, I don't know what this guy was doing. He didn't start the game against Napoli, okay? And I'm not even sure he played the game against Napoli, but he was awful today. Like, I've never said this about any of the Chelsea players, but today was the worst ever. His attitude was something that we don't need at this club. He couldn't beat Juan Bissaka, and it wasn't the fact that Juan Bissaka and maybe Mavropanos, I think that's his name, Mavropanos, was doubling up on him. It was only Juan Bissaka, and he could not beat him not one time. He lose the ball several times, gives the ball away. I cannot even count how many times he gave the ball away, and because of him not tracking back Juan Bissaka, he gets to make that crossing, and boom, we got that second goal down against us. And this was like, if you see the video I made in one of my Facebook channels, I was like, what is going on? We were awful. I don't know what they were playing. It was like at a point we had 90% possession, and guess what? We had only maybe 1 or 2 shots on goal at that time. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. We were just passing the ball in the back line. Badiashile was under. Oh my goodness. He was shaky. Some of these guys, I don't know if they're going to be in Chelsea for too long if they keep on playing like this. But we needed to fight back. We needed to show spirit. Coming back from 4 wins in a row, and of course the win against Napoli, we wanted to make sure that this game we won it before we go to the Emirates to face Arsenal, who had a fantastic game today. Again, they scored from own goals, but still they won by 4 goals to 0, and that's a big confidence boost for them going into the game against Chelsea. So we needed to come back from this game. And And, like I mentioned, in the second half, the coach right away he made some substitutions. Okay, he made some substitutions. He changed. He removed Garnacho, Gittins, who of course in the first half Gittins he had some kind of a knock or something, and because of that uh, he came out earlier in the first half, and Pedro Neto was the one who replaced him. Who I want to say he had a good game today, but again, all our wingers so far, they got to do something because we paid a lot of money for these guys, and they were not giving us decent crosses into that main 18 box. But of course, the coach made some changes. He removed Ganacho and brought in João Pedro. Of course, I mentioned Jamie Gittins came out earlier. It was Pedro Neto who came in for him. Badiashile was also removed, and Wesley Fofana came in. And then finally, it was Jarrod Bowen who came out, and Marc Cucurella came in. So on the first before the first whistle of the second half, we made three changes. Okay, so Chelsea was really down to four changes at the start of the second half, and from nowhere the game just changed. We looked better. There was more intensity, which is what the coach was talking about in his press conference. If you saw my pre-match analysis, he talked about intensity. He talked about fighting, whether you're the one starting or not. But Garnacho, Badiashile, today, they were the worst players today on the field. Okay, and I know sometimes players do have a bad game, but today it was just terrible. It was just terrible. Garnacho, his attitude was I don't know. I, I pay me half of that money that these guys earn, and you will see me running like hell. I'll run like hell. Fight for that bag. That's what the and Stamford Bridge, you could tell everybody was annoyed. There was a lot of booze in the second half. It was just not what we needed. Okay. So in the second half, he made these changes, and then Chelsea started playing better. There was more intensity. There was more fight. Okay, Malo Gusto was playing harder. Cucurella, the tactic shift was also very, very good because Cucurella, he kept Wan Bissaka all the way back. So Wan Bissaka couldn't have those runs because Cucurella was now right there, always looking to get forward. Isn't that funny? Garnacho was taken out. Cucurella kind of replaced him, but always at that same position where Garnacho was taken, and it was even more effective. The defender was more effective than the attacker who was playing in the first half. Okay, and just like that, we kept on going, and before you know it, in the 57 minutes, guess who goes ahead and crosses the first goal, the ball. It was Fofana. Takes the ball from defense, runs into midfield, and plays a crossing. And who was back there to head it? João Pedro, the man on form, and he was able to nod in that goal. It was the first goal, 57 minutes, Chelsea 2-1, game on. Okay, and we kept on pushing and pushing, and it was also in the 70th minute. In the 70th minute, that's when the goal came because, of course, Reece James was able to. Reece James did come in for. And I'm just speaking like this because I'm just excited. I don't even know what happened, but okay. Reece James had come in for Malo Gusto, and during that time, Chelsea was able to get the ball, crossing the ball from the defense. No. Hang on. I'm gonna because I'm mixing everything. I'm just oh my. Okay, calm down. All right. So before the substitutions, Malo Gusto was seeing the play, and it was a crossing from the left wing. I think it was from Pedro Neto, who has shifted to that side, and it was a good cross. Malo Gusto was back at the end. He was able to nut the ball backwards, and Leon Delap, he had kind of ruffled somebody, but he jumped, nutted the ball, he hit the defender, hit the crossbar, comes down, and guess who was right there? Who was dying to nut that ball in? It was Marc Cucurella. At the low block, he was able to punch in that ball with his head, and Chelsea 2-2 at this time around. After the final changes, which was of course Malo Gusto, coming out for Reece James. We kept on pushing and pushing, and it was as if, what when is this final goal gonna come? But there's something I'm noticing about this team now. Even when we are down, the players are still kind of calm. It's like it felt like we're gonna win the game eventually, but I don't know when it was gonna come. And lo and behold, in the 92nd minute, it was Enzo Fernandez coming in after a low cross from João Pedro back into the 18-yard. He comes in running from the midfield, just like the goal some of you called scored against us. He nuts that ball in right. He shoot that ball in right there, and there was no way the goalkeeper could catch it. Chelsea winning 9-3-2 at the end of the game. This was an amazing game, and this was fantastic. And I'm just, I don't even know what to say anymore. And forgive me if this video is all gibberish, but that's how excited I was because I really wanted us to win this game. Going to the next game against Arsenal is going to be a tougher match. And honestly, the coach needs to speak to a couple players or a few players in the team today, especially those who started in the first half. Now, I know a lot of them who started in the first half still ended up playing in the second half, but those changes were very, very important. Credit to Liam Rosinha once more because he made those changes right at the start of the first half. He made some tactical changes. I think we're playing 4-1-4-1 in the beginning. But I'm telling you, in the second half, we probably shifted to 3-3-4 or something, and because we kept on pushing them, they were using that low block because at some point, West Ham just wanted to hang on. They brought in a couple, defenders just to hold on to that lead, but it was not going to happen today. So Chelsea go ahead and win. Now in the final minutes of the game, I think in the 98 minutes. There's a little bit of a scruffle between João Pedro and it was Adama Traore, but another player who I think just John Claude Todibo, he kind of pushed João Pedro in the neck, and after like 3 minutes check, VR kind of called Dean Howard back to the monitor, and it was a red card against them. And they played the final corner kick. They couldn't score, and that was the end of the game. So Chelsea go ahead to win this London derby 3-2. But oh my word, that first half we should not play like that ever again, especially going away to Arsenal in the next game. We need to be on from the first whistle, intensity, pushing for it, fighting, and determination because we cannot do this when we meet better teams, okay, who hardly concede like Arsenal. But against West Ham, we knew West Ham, they've always been conceding, even if they had a good run for the past few games. But today, we need to do better when it comes to that first half. So again, I'm gonna end with a positive note. We won the game 3-2. Liam Rosinha still unbeaten in the Premiership. That's 6 games, 6 wins in a row, and it's been great it's been great for the team. And now we move on to the next game, which is Arsenal against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. That one is going to be a cracker, and I hope the coach gets the lineup right and the tactics right because it's going to be tougher than this. Okay, but right now, if you haven't subscribed, do me a favor, smack that subscribe button. Okay, share this information to folks who you want to listen to it. Okay, and of course, like and leave a comment or two about the game, and let me know what you think about the next game. All right, and I'll be having a video about that later on tomorrow or by Tuesday. I should be posting that video for the preview against Arsenal. But today, Chelsea fans, we get to relax again because I'm telling you, if we had lost this game against West Ham, that would mean we would have been looking at the game against with Man U tomorrow. And if they win, they just go even further ahead of us. So currently, Chelsea finish up the weekend. I think we should finish up the weekend at the 4th position so far. Liverpool is gonna play very soon. Let's see what happens. But at the same time, Man U plays tomorrow, and by tomorrow we should know if we remain at the 4th position or we go back to the 5th position. Okay, so far so good. let's keep on going. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Chidi Also Taste and enjoy the rest of your day. Up the blues.